Okay, so I'm literally getting hundreds of emails a day into my office, calls, questions about like what's happening with COVID. There's more restrictions across the country. We're going into Halloween weekend. We're being told not to trick or treat. People are concerned about, and rightly so, long-term care homes, what's happening with, anyway, there's just so many uncertainties. And this is after 10 months of this. So many of you want answers. And we know that Justin Trudeau has been trying everything that he can to not allow us to get answers. So, when you think back this year, he shuttered Parliament, then he actually officially shut it down with prorogation. But I want to give you a quick recap. It's Friday night, and I want to tell you what I've been working on in a big win that we had this week in that quest to get answers and to chart a better path forward. So, this is about 3 weeks ago now, maybe even a little longer than that. I now sit as the vice chair of the Standing Committee on Health for the House of Commons, and I put forward a motion with my Conservative colleagues to basically have an inquiry on COVID-19, and the federal government's response. Why have we spent all this money? Is it getting results? Where are we going from here? What's actually happening? What should we be doing? What data are you using? Those sorts of questions. We put that motion forward, and what the Liberals did, this was the first motion that was put forward at the Health Committee after the Liberals had prorogued Parliament. So Health Committee hadn't sat for months, and the Liberals actually did something called filibuster it, and that means that they kept talking and talking and talking so that essentially they're ragging the puck, right? And they wasted 2 meetings doing this. And then I was really fortunate because with our new party leader, Aaron O'Toole, he wanted answers on this too. So he worked with me and others. We actually put forward this motion in the full House of Commons. And that's kind of a more powerful official format to do something like this. It carries a lot of weight. So if you've been following this story in the national news, I've been in the national news a lot about this, that we put forward this really broad motion to review the federal government's response to COVID so that we can understand what's working and what obviously isn't, and then chart a better path forward quickly, because many of you can't wait for that any longer. And then we also asked the government for a bunch of documents related to this so that Parliament can do its job and actually review what's been going on and what they've been spending your money on and whether or not that's a good use of funds and all of those sorts of things. So when we did this in the House of Commons, the Liberals didn't really know what to do. They obviously didn't want this to happen, but they went all over the place. I asked the health minister when she would be able to deliver documents, this sort of stuff. She responded, and it was just this really damaging but cruel answer. It was something to the effect of people just really don't care about access to information. Nobody's asked me about that. It was just this flippant response, to the point where the Office of the Information Commissioner actually, and this is a formal office of Parliament, it's associated with that, where essentially said, look, this is wrong. You need to figure out what to do better. So that happened. Then the weekend before the vote, this vote on this motion happened on Monday. The Liberals went out and it was like apocalypse now. They were basically suggesting that Canadians wouldn't be able to get access to things like PPE or vaccines if this motion went through. And that was just ridiculous. So I spent part of the week sort of debunking that. But rather than try to get to yes on parliamentary accountability, like getting these answers that you need, the Liberals tried everything to stop it. But I'm pleased to report tonight that the motion actually passed in the House of Commons, and we worked together with the Bloc and the NDP to hold these guys to account. We're in a minority parliament right now, which means that the Liberals, even though they have the most seats in the House, they don't have a majority or a 50% plus one amount of seats in the House. So at least one other opposition party has to vote with them on a motion in order for it to pass or fail the way that they want to. In this case, the Bloc and the NDP actually voted for my motion, and that allowed it to pass. So now Health Committee will be looking at these questions. I've got a lot of work to do, obviously, to get ready for that, but it's a step in the right direction. I know many of you would say to me, Michelle, it's so slow. It's been 10 months. We need answers now. I agree with you. I do. But of course, we know that Trudeau he shut down Parliament. He shut down our committees. He was doing everything that he could to stop this sort of work. And I just think it's a step in the right direction. We made progress today. to getting some accountability and some transparency on what's been going on and charting a better path forward. And it was nice to see some nonpartisanship happen with the other parties in moving forward on this. So a bit of a positive update for you. It's been a really busy week for me, a week and a half. It's been a busy few weeks, and I haven't been doing as many lives because of it. But I just wanted to let you know that our entire Conservative team has been working so hard, working around the clock, negotiating, writing these motions up, meeting with all sorts of different groups and stakeholders and individuals across the country to come up with a better path forward. So you can follow this study. I'll be posting more information about it, but share this video so that people know that there is work that's happening, but more importantly, to make sure that it doesn't get swept under the rug. The Liberals don't want the Canadian public to pay attention to these hearings. They put up such a fuss about this motion that and the fact that they even tried to block it at committee, to me it says that they don't want you looking at this information, but we're going to find out. That's my job, and I'm pleased to do that for you. So a bit of a victory on a Friday night, and it really goes to show what happens when we stand up, we use our voices, and we demand accountability from this government. Share this video. I hope you all have a great weekend, and we're going to get to the bottom of this, and we're going to chart a better path forward. Working very hard for you in Ottawa. Have a great day.